Namaste everyone. Welcome back to Epic Tales of the Mahabharata. I am Ryan and today we continue our journey through the epic saga. Last time we learned about how Lord Ganesha wrote the Mahabharata and the story of King Shantanu and Ganga. In this episode, we'll hear about the great vow taken by Devabrata, the marriage of Shantanu and Satyavati, and the plight of Amba. Let's get started. Shantanu was happy to have his son by his side, but sometimes felt lonely. He missed Ganga and often walked along the riverside thinking of her. One day, Shantanu met a beautiful and charming fisherwoman named Satyavati and instantly fell in love with her and wanted to marry her. He went ahead and proposed. Satyavati coyly replied that she was also keen to marry him, but she needed to ask her father for permission. He went to talk to her father, who was a fisherman by the name of Dasaraj and was extremely greedy. The fisherman was cunning enough not to display any emotions of happiness or surprise. After hearing Shantanu's plea for Satyavati's hand, Dasaraj said that he would accept Shantanu as his son-in-law only on the condition that the son born to Satyavati will succeed the throne. Shantanu did not agree to this demand. He couldn't deprive his beloved Devabrata of his right to the throne, so he gave up the idea of marrying Satyavati. However, he couldn't forget Satyavati. He was miserable and depressed. Everyone noticed the king's restlessness and apathy. Devabrata too saw his father's lack of interest in discharging his duties. He probed further and called his attendants, who informed him of the reason for the father's despair. He learned and was shocked that he was the real cause of his father's despair. He asked Dasaraj, "I hear you've rejected my father's proposal to marry your daughter Satyavati. Tell me, what can I do to make you agree?" Dasaraj said, "I am concerned that my grandchildren will be deprived if your father marries my daughter. You are the crown prince of Hastinapur, and after your father, you'd be the king." Without wasting time, Devabrata promised him that he would never claim the throne of Hastinapur and never marry. Hearing this mighty vow, the gods showered flowers on Devabrata. They chanted Bhishma, Bhishma in his praise. Henceforth, for this Bhisham, a profound vow, he was named Bhishma. When Shantanu learned of his son's shocking promise, he was distraught. Bhishma consoled him, saying, "Father, your happiness is priceless to me. I can give up my life to see a smile on your face. This vow is nothing in comparison." Shantanu blessed his son and said, "My dear son, I wish to bless you with a boon so that you will have the power to decide your time of death. No one would be able to defeat you in a war. Death will never touch you unless you choose it yourself." After their marriage, Shantanu and Satyavati lived a happy conjugal life. Satyavati gave birth to two boys, Chitrangad and Vichitavirya. Chitrangad grew up to be a handsome young prince and soon joined his brother Bhishma on the battlefield, but lost his life in one of the battles. The pain of losing Chitrangad was too much for Shantanu to bear. Besides, he was suffering from health problems, leading to his death. Satyavati started to think about Vichitavirya's marriage. She told Bhishma about her concern. The king of Kashi had three beautiful daughters, Amba, Ambika, and Balika. He had arranged a swayamvar for his three daughters. He had invited all the influential kings and princes to the swayamvar, but skipped the Kurus. Bhishma was furious upon hearing this, as it was an outright insult to the Kuru dynasty. Amba, the daughter of the king of Kashi, was renowned for her beauty and grace. Many princes and kings came to compete for her hand in marriage. Bhishma had taken a vow of celibacy, but he still desired to secure a worthy wife for his brother Vichitavirya. So, Bhishma decided to abduct Amba and her two sisters, Ambika and Ambalika, and bring them to Hastinapur to be Vichitavirya's bride. Bhishma successfully carried out his plan and brought the three sisters to Hastinapur. However, when Amba was presented to Vichitavirya, she refused to marry him. Amba revealed that she was already in love with Prince Shalva and had hoped to marry him. Vichitavirya respected Amba's feelings and refused to marry her against her will. Bhishma, bound by his vow, could not marry Amba himself. Amba was thus left in a difficult position, abducted from her home and rejected by both Bhishma and Vichitavirya. Dejected, Amba returned to Prince Shalva and begged him to take her back and fight Bhishma. But Prince Shalva, bound by his royal obligations, could not wage a war against the mighty Bhishma. Distraught and without recourse, Amba decided to take her own life. But before she could do so, the great sage Parashurama, who was a mentor to Bhishma, appeared and offered to help her seek a vengeance on Bhishma. Parashurama tried to convince Bhishma to marry Amba, but Bhishma remained steadfast in his refusal. Ultimately, Amba undertook severe penance to gain the boon of being able to kill Bhishma in a future battle. After years of arduous penance, she was reborn as Prince Shikhandi, who later played a pivotal role in the Great War of Kurukshetra, leading to Bhishma's downfall. Through her trials, Amba's unbreakable spirit and determination for justice became a significant part of the grand epic of the Mahabharata. Amba's tragic story was just the beginning of the complex web of relationships and vendettas that would shape the great war of the Mahabharata. Vichitavirya dutifully married Ambika and Ambalika to continue the royal lineage of Hastinapur. Tragically, Vichitravirya passed away at a young age without a clear heir to the throne. This presented a grave crisis for the kingdom of Hastinapur. Bhishma, bound by his vow, could not ascend the throne himself. In this time of uncertainty, the wise sage Vyasa appeared. He offered to father an heir to the throne through Ambika and Ambalika, through dharmic rituals. Vyasa came and touched Satyavati's feet. He found his mother in tears. Don't weep, mother. I have arrived. Tell me what I can do for you. Vichitravirya, my youngest son, is no more. He has left two childless widows behind. You are my oldest son. Bhishma has taken a stern vow of celibacy. But you are under no such vow. It is your duty as Vichitravirya's half-brother to perpetuate his lineage. You are also a Brahmin, which makes you an ideal candidate to perform this task. Ambika and Ambalika should also have sons to hold in their arms. Sage Vyasa wanted the princess to undergo rites of purification for 1 year, but Satyavati requested the sage arrive with some other option, as it was a question of heirs for the kingdom, which could not remain kingless for long. In that case, the princesses should be prepared to withstand my ugliness, the sage stated clearly. Arrangements were made for Sage Vyasa's stay and union with the widows. Ambika could not withstand his looks. She closed her eyes out of fear. The sage informed Queen Satyavati that the son born to Ambika would be blind, though he would be a good ruler. Next, it was Ambalika's turn. When the sage visited her, Ambalika was scared and she turned pale and she looked at his frightening face. Later, Sage Vyasa informed Satyavati, his mother, that Ambalika would be blessed with the child, no doubt, but he would be pale and fragile. He would nonetheless be valiant, added the sage. Queen Satyavati was not satisfied that the heir to Hastinapur would be blind. Therefore, she proposed that Ambika should once again visit the sage. Ambika did not gather enough courage to face him again. Instead, she arranged a maid to represent her. The maid was intelligent, fearless, and devoted to the sage. This time, the sage informed Satyavati that the son born to the maid would be highly talented and worldly wise. He would be a man of great political learning. His wise policies would take Hastinapur to a glorious height. The births of the Kaurava and Pandava princess set the stage for the epic clash of the Mahabharata war to come, as the two factions vied for the throne of Hastinapur. Before we wrap up, let me ask you a few questions to think about. Question number 1. Who is Satyavati's father? Question number 2. Who is Bhishma's mother? Question number 3. Who did Amba want to marry in the Swayamvar? Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy these stories. In our next episode, we'll explore what happens after the death of Vichitravirya and how Pandavas and Kauravas came into the picture. Until then, keep dreaming big and always stay curious. Namaste.